It's all good. We've done a lot of podcasts actually recently, so I
cheers,
feel like
boys.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Yeah, we should get used to
There we go.
Intro on the podcast, but sometimes you just gotta dive right into it. You know, just boom.
That's how I feel.
It's all good.
Mike wants to give the date, where we are, who we're with. I like diving in too.
Right.
Yeah, just
So we're not going to give the date?
It's
What is today's
it's
date?
April 18th, 2022.
it's tax day.
TMNT. Well, yeah, I'm trying to start on a positive note.
You led me to tax them.
Any business like owner or entrepreneur knows that today is tax day. It's a dark day for all of us. So a moment of silence to all those out there. All right, let's begin.
TMNT today.
Official announcement day, finally.
Yeah, officially.
Yeah, after weeks of sweating it out with some leaks and that. And look, the leaks definitely are frustrating, you know, for us. But I mean, when's the last time people were so excited by sports nutrition products that they actually can't wait to leak it and whatever else? So
it's a good sign.
Yeah, it's humbling. It's annoying but humbling, and you know, definitely appreciate the excitement. So
It's also cool because that was literally the genesis of the brand.
yeah,
Create that excitement again.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the fact that we're able to do that and with a collab like this, which there's a fun story behind, we should share at some point today.
sure.
It's cool. So
You guys have had a lot of different collabs along the way. And so this one being the second pop culture reference that isn't a flavor. Even though it is a flavor in some ways. That I'm sure we can talk about probably what the flavor is. But talking about the different experiences of the different products, I mean, it's 4 different SKUs.
Yeah,
Which I'm excited about.
I mean, like, look, I think a lot of the collabs or all of our collabs have some personal connection to them. You know, like there's a good story behind it or the why, which is funny. I think that's also why, you know, now going into year 6 of Ghost, like we've waited and been strategic about when we kind of roll things out. We want everything to have like a moment in the sun, you know, and have like a good like timing for it versus just trotting out a bunch of collabs just for the sake of doing it. But as far as turtles go, I think it was 1 a.m. in Pittsburgh, had some successful meetings with the GNC team there. Had some successful tacos, I'm sure, at Taco there in Pittsburgh, which we show a lot of love to that spot. I know it sounds weird that like some of the best tacos in the U.S. are in Pittsburgh, and maybe as a Texan that's hard for you to hear, but it's true. They're good.
There's a taco spot right across in the little square from GNC's headquarters. I don't know if that's where you go, but I have a taco spot in Pittsburgh. I always
Pretty
go to
TAKO.
Okay.
Taco. Like
the fact that you also have a taco spot in Pittsburgh
Says how good the tacos are.
further
Yeah,
reiterates how amazing Pittsburgh is.
But yeah, look, had some tacos, had some margs, probably a couple shots of tequila too, and head back to the hotel. And we were sharing a room. We had our own beds, but we were sharing a room, and just sitting there being dumb. And we're like, we should do a Turtles collab, right? And was there more to it than that? Just like
We were just spitballing ideas,
like just crazy
back and forth.
weird ideas. And it was like, yeah, we should do a Turtles collab. So at 1 a.m, just fire off an email. So like, we need to talk to Turtles next week.
So was
There you go.
Was it to Nickelodeon?
Yeah.
That's sick. I didn't put 2 and 2 together that TMNT is Nickelodeon. I sent Dan a picture of the back of the box. When I got the box, I was just like, I'm so proud of you guys because, I mean, that was my childhood.
Yeah.
You know?
I think I've wanted to work with Nickelodeon ever since the brain football.
Yeah.
Do you remember that thing?
Yep.
The brain ball? No? Yeah, you had, this is like I think only, Holden, you know what a brain ball is? Nah, I didn't think so.
So yeah, I got to
Z.
back things up for those who are listening on the audio feeds. That's all. Like, we've been talking about this so much, we assume everyone knows what we're talking about. We're talking about your official collaboration with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Ben's holding a pizza box that has 4 supplements in it. 4 different supplements. One completely new supplement in Ghost Gamer Non-Stim.
Yep.
You have and one new flavor, which is ooze.
Yes, sir.
We're calling it Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles ooze on our system. So
Yep.
that's what we're talking about here for everyone who's listening in our growing audio feeds. Yeah, so mid to late 80s, early 90s, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles were like everything. It was the thing for the guys. And I was looking up when we were writing the article, they sold over $1 billion with the action figures and stuff. Like this is like no small franchise. So when you talk about nostalgia with a lot of your flavor collaborations, there's like no bigger nostalgia. I'm thinking 5th grade. Like when I was in 5th grade, this was, if you weren't like into Ninja Turtles, you weren't It wasn't about being cool.
For me, it was
Like,
that
you weren't-
video.
you
It
were
was the
relevant.
initial video game, the initial Konami video game, which was the one that like I think really got me into it. And then the movie came out 1991 maybe.
These early
I think.
90s,
Yeah. So like, yeah, I mean, you were elementary school, middle school, and that was the thing. And that's I don't know, like we do a lot as a brand. I think with nostalgia, specifically like to that era. I think that that's stuff that we find super nostalgic, and we kind of force it on our team here too. But I mean, whether you're talking about Sour Patch Kids, Swedish Fish, you're talking about Oreos or Chips Ahoy, Space Jam or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like we like to have a lot of fun with what we do. And as always, like this was a really cool project to dive in pretty deep, creating one product that I think, kind of embodies the spirit, right, of each of the turtles, which is kind of the fun game that we played there.
So you reach out to Nickelodeon, and do you like put a pitch deck together? Or
Yeah.
Okay, and so you've already done some stuff. You're already established. You already have social proof and everything.
Yep.
What are the next steps?
And that's why I say, like, now the process for us getting collaborations is a lot easier than in the early days, right? We have a ton of like proof of concept. We've got a lot of sales over the years. We've gotten a lot of awards from you guys and others for some of those things too. So it's easy story to tell of, hey, here's why it will work. And in fact, like now when we're like hitting up Nickelodeon, the pitch deck is what you see here. We're kind of like, hey, here's our idea, here's how we want to execute it. Even with something as big as that, we're kind of like, you guys in or out, because we know exactly what we want to do now. I think we've refined the vision, and it's great to get their feedback on things and really dial in some of the authenticity and some things that as just mortal fans of like the franchise we may miss, which is always kind of cool to learn more about Turtles in this case. Or I think we joked about going to Oreo University for like 3 hours, like a couple, when we launched that. So that's always awesome. But yeah, I mean, we pitched exactly what you see here.
You brought up the social media content aspect that they didn't. Well, you brought up what you had done previously with Space Jam, where it was humans with cartoons, and that they weren't particularly too fond of that because their cartoons were not alongside real humans. And I thought that was a really interesting factor.
Yeah, something that people may not know, and this is more, Ryan's like the cross that he bears, but a lot of times with any content that features a licensed product, we have to route it through them to get approved, which means our social has to be unbelievably well planned. You have to be ahead of schedule, things that growing companies are just never good at, right? So we've had to manage a lot of that over the years in working with some of the big brands that we have. But as far as that one, to your kind of comment there, like, yeah, one of the coolest parts about Space Jam, right, was the images of like our team with the actual characters, or me and Lola Bunny, I think, brought the house down. But with Turtles, we weren't able to do that. And then they pointed out, like, hey, Space Jam is like predicated on cartoons interacting with humans, where in Turtles, like culture, everyone's just the same. So everyone's a cartoon, or everyone's like, with the live action thing that they did. So they didn't want us using the retro cartoons with our people, which was a bummer. But again, makes total sense.
I love that you guys are playing on the personalities of all the characters with these SKUs, because that's something that, like right off the bat, when you and I talked about it at TMNT a decent while back, you were like, which one was your favorite? And immediately, like, everyone has an answer.
What
Like,
is everyone's answer?
for me, it was like Donatello.
Donatello.
Yeah.
I'm a Michelangelo guy.
That's weird. Mine was Donatello also. I feel like Donatello was like kind of like not the most popular one. We got 3 Donatellos here.
No way.
Yeah.
I mean,
I like beating people with the stick in the video game. Yeah.
you look at our comments on our post already, like there's already people that are like, I can't wait for that. I was like, I think there's a Michelangelo comment, there's a Donatello comment.
Yeah.
It's cool to see people, they identify with that. They relate
Yeah.
to that. It's important.
And we tried to like basically pick the most appropriate Ghost product for each of their kind of personalities, traits, right? So Leonardo, legend, the leader, makes total sense. That's a gimme. Same thing with Michelangelo, right? Always the kind of fun-loving turtle. So doing a gamer for Michelangelo, of course. Raphael, always the fittest turtle. Used to like work out and stuff in the books and in the cartoons. Had to do like a pump, for him, made sense. And Donatello being kind of the more cerebral, let's say quieter one. We kind of took the opportunity to do like a stim-free gamer for the first time. So
Yeah, I wrote that he's like the more sober one kind
Yeah.
of. So
Yeah.
I thought it made total sense. Now with the pre-workout though, you went with Ghost Legend, the UK version.
Yep.
You want to talk
Was that
about
for
that?
his personality, or was that for a global?
is culture. No, that was really one thing that's really exciting about this partnership that we haven't been able to always pull off with some of the others. This is launching simultaneously here in Europe and also in Australia. So we had to use a version of Legend that was compliant. in all those regions. The other like gamers compliant, so there's no problems there. But
I still kind of do think that, like, as the leader, this is getting a little bit too into the ingredients, but like that alpha yo, like wildness, like that neurofactors, to me, it's a like you said, sober leader feeling.
It's clean. Like Leonardo fights with the katana blades. It's like a clean cutting kind of instrument, whereas Alpha Yo Himbine is not always as clean to everybody, but like the neurofactor seems to be pretty consistent with most users. So to me, that it makes sense personally.
you're a neurofactor guy.
Yeah, I'd prefer it over to the Alpha Himbine.
It's funny because Mike doesn't use very much of the Legend V2 because the Alpha Yo really kicks his ass.
I'm with you.
I don't mean that in any kind of derogatory way. It's a lot for some people. And so it's funny because I told him
Ghost is soft though, right?
Ghost doesn't lift. I mean, I've heard it all.
Yeah.
But it was funny because this morning I told him how excited I was for UK, and he's like, "Do you not like Alpha Yo anymore?" I'm like, "No, it's just on a daily thing. Like neurofactor just makes sense to me. You know, I can do that every day. I can do 2 scoops of that every single day.
Yeah.
So
That's the goal.
Well, the version of Ghost Legend that I've been using the most, I'm really low now, is the Max Tuning Pink Lemonade. And it's similar type of formula.
Yeah.
A couple tweaks, but yeah, it's got the neurofactor, I believe. So I'm a huge fan of that blend. And
I don't know where it became cool all of a sudden to like create a product that literally makes somebody feel like shit, and then like to go on the internet and like joke with each other like, wow, that thing really kicked my ass and I felt like shit. And it's just, I don't know where that became like a trend. It's just something that we've never really been interested in playing too. So I mean, you can make an argument about the safety of that.
Yeah.
We can definitely make an argument about the longevity of that strategy. But again, with Ghost, honestly, in so many ways being kind of a personal statement of stuff that we love to do or use and are inspired by, right? It makes sense that we'd create products for ourselves. And everyone says that, but is it really true? But in the case of us, like, hey, like, yeah, we want the caffeine, but we want focus and energy. We want it to be balanced. And it is something I want to take every day. I'm not trying to, take a bunch of undisclosed stimulant or DMHA wannabe type, products. And then again, go and wow, that kicked my ass. I felt horrible.
Or even like, I mean, you guys take a lot of pre-workout, right? So what about like the 25, 30 gram scoop for a pre-workout? Like for me, I've used them, and it's just like my stomach. I can't tolerate it, right?
Yeah.
So I think we've tried to make, products that obviously they hit, but they feel good, and like you can actually go get a lift in and not feel like
I help
shit.
out the Rutgers powerlifting team, the collegiate team there, and a lot of the kids, knowing what I do, they ask me what pre-workout should I be taking, and more often than not, I'm like, I should just go down to GNC, grab Legend, and it's funny because they're young kids, and like, yeah, but it's like a trendy pre-workout. Like, I'll give you 2 scoops, check it out, and every single time it's like, okay, that was a lot, that was good, and you don't have to kill yourself with these stims to have a good workout. I mean, you're an IFBB pro. Did you need 400 milligrams of caffeine every day to do
I've never been the guy that's like, I want a pound 400 mg caffeine. Now, our energy drinks 200 mgs. Like I will have 2 of those over the course of a day, but I like it more spaced out versus like one kind of punch.
You don't even like GBB.
No. Dan loves trying to find ways to feed me GBB, but no, I don't love it.
Yeah, I mean, I like to enjoy the gym.
Yeah.
And so it's something that's going to take me past the point of enjoyment. It's not for me.
All right, I got to ask a hard question. We are here in your office in Chicago and everything, but this is our podcast. So you've given me 2 products right now. One of them has GBB, Ghost Burn Non-Stim, and Legend. And you say that you like Neurofactor better than the Alpha Yo and the Legend. And you're saying that you don't like GBB, which is in one of your other kind of flagship products. Like, do you have an issue with that as one of the founders of the company, where there's 2 kind of key SKUs that are not perfectly suited for Ryan Hughes?
Well, I mean, this brand is far bigger than Dan and Ryan.
Right, of course.
Right. So I think while we make products that we obviously love to take and use, and obviously the brand is something that speaks to us, obviously a lot more people as well, we're not going to love every single product and take every single product every day. Now, are there times where you may use Burn, may use Legend? Of course. Like I still take Legend, right? I just prefer some of the other formulas that we've developed, right? So like, for example, Space Jam for me, the Toon Squad was like one of my favorite pre-workouts we've ever had.
Yeah.
So, I think everybody kind of has their preferences from time to time. For us to say, I need to take this product every day with every single thing that we make, it's a little unrealistic, especially as the brand scales. And I think with Burn, like obviously the category is super important. We wanted to produce a product that like obviously we were proud of. That category in general for me has just not been one that I've taken over my career.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan is the guy I envy because it's really easy for him to get lean. And I've got the opposite body type where it's really easy for me to like put on mass, but it's harder to get lean. So I think I've probably played a lot more with like thermogenics over the years. And Ryan's always really interested in like what changes or improvements or what's new research or ingredient wise out there for like a ghost size type product, you know?
Yeah, I'm like Ryan. I can lose fat, no problem. I'll take 1 scoop burn every morning for cardio, like sweat my ass off. Just 1 scoop. That's all I really need.
We also just have like, especially when you say like stimulants or products that contain stimulants, we have a lot of options. So like we also switch it up. Like I love Ghost Gamer. I very rarely will take it like on the sticks because truthfully we haven't had as much time to play this year that we did maybe in previous years. Still take the product all the time, right? So like we've just got a lot of options in that category. And for me, you know, Gamer, the reason why I like 150 mgs caffeine, you know, it's not going to punch you in the face, but also has the nootropics and cognitive ingredients. Same thing with Ghost Energy, right? Love the feel I get from Ghost Energy. So
if it wasn't so heavily carbonated, I would drink it pre-workout a lot more.
yeah, I agree. Like I'm not a big on energy drinks pre-workout. This is more like a replacement for coffee or like afternoon pick me up for me.
But we've seen the energy market increasing a lot, and none of them are really touching the formula. We can talk about flavors. I think there's a lot of great flavors out there, but in terms of formulas, no one is really getting close to that. It's funny, just the neurofactor itself is a difference maker for me. You know, there's a lot of choline and other kinds of ingredients out there that are being splashed into drinks, but no one's doing that. And it's a significant difference for me. It's an extra cost. I mean, it's buying a whole can. It's not expensive, but per scoop of Gamer, it's definitely more expensive. But getting that kind of ingredient in for me is really, I like it a lot.
You start to. It's funny. It's a different thinking in the world of beverage, right? And in the world of powders, if I said, well, this formula or this thing costs 10 cents or 11 cents, 20 cents more than this one, we'll make that investment all day if it's like the best product for our fans or for that goal, right? In energy drinks, it's every penny. They wash like hawks. And maybe because we're partnered with Anheuser-Busch, so we've gotten a little bit more of a serious or high-level education in that faster. It's like, yeah, the extra 2 cents a serve or whatever it is for Neurofactor, like, have to go fight for that with like an A, B, like, here's why we want to do it. Here's why it's a good deal. Here's why we're doing this. And like, look, there's a lot of costs, right? We use estrogen. We use Carnipure branded carnitine. Not only is that kind of tying in your supply chain, you know, right? You're mono-sourcing those ingredients because they're branded. But there's also some cost there. But
yeah.
When you're working with Anheuser-Busch, are they asking specifics? Like, why do you need Carnipure? Why can't you just get Joe Blow's L-carnitine?
They definitely understand ingredient quality. They definitely understand verifying sources, right? They're Anheuser-Busch. They do all that, and they're speccing the farms that some of the stuff comes from. But in our case, no, we have to educate them for sure on what Carnipure even is, or what Neurofactor even is. And look, we know that. Let's be honest, okay? 99.9% of the people buying these things have the same questions. They don't know either, right? But one of the keys to Ghost, which I know we've talked about before, you know, our like kind of vision or mantra: formulate for the 1%, build the brand, the marketing, the message, the flavors for the 99%. And those details are definitely there for the 1%. Those are for like the true kind of, you know, the echo chamber of sports nutrition, or what the advanced user, right? Who are going to be like, oh, sick, estrogen, Neurofactor, you know, Carnipure. But like most people are just going to be like, hey, I'm buying this because of the flavor. I'm buying this because I like the way it makes me feel, which is a result of those ingredients that they don't understand, or they're just buying it for the brand. But either way, we work really hard. That's a great product example to kind of tick those boxes.
What I love is you mentioned DMHA in some other context before, but like when you launched Ghost circa around 2016, like the DMHA pre-workout was like the thing. And I just love that, first off, you didn't do that, but how much time has passed? It's been 6 years now, and it's I guess how have you guys changed a lot in those 6 years? Like on a personal level too. Like, we've been following you, and it's fun to watch on.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is, you said, you know, when you talk to some of like the powerlifting kids and stuff, they refer to Ghost as like a trendy brand. But for me, a trend is in and out. Yeah. And Ghost has been here for 6+ years now, right? Yeah. So, you know,
we're growing our fastest right now, to be honest. Yeah.
Is that because of energy?
Some new categories, yeah.
Okay.
Energy and some other new like the new protein drinks, right? You're adding on just completely new categories. There's always going to be growth, hopefully, for your company within the category or in the places that you already have products. But you're talking about completely new categories, completely new distribution channels, retail fronts, et cetera. So it's, really going to overdrive.
The point you made was kind of interesting. I want to kind of challenge you on your thought process on that, because a trend is in and out. Totally right. And I would say, I think like kind of what everyone's talking about really is that Ghost has a really strong hold on young kids right now. And so for 6 years, you've had a strong hold on the
millennial
stereotypical
demographic, yeah,
millennials, either.
But six years is not an insignificant amount of time.
Right.
So now those kids have gotten older.
So that's exactly my question.
Right.
Is your demographic growing? Are they growing with you? Are you grabbing new kids? What happens when that stereotypical Ghost consumer is no longer, like when it's the next trend? Are they going to grow with you, or are you going to be grabbing them next?
To follow on, because I see that I've been in this industry a long time like you have, and you see once a lot of us start hitting dad age, they start falling off the workout bandwagon. Then you see if a brand is clinging to that person, they kind of go down with it. And so, kind of curious how you.
So 2 things. Number 1, every birthday that I have, like we add a year to the core demo of Ghost, right? That's like in the bylaws, right?
Cool.
But I think the answer to your question is hopefully both. Hopefully you're bringing new people into the brand, no matter what age they are, and I'll come back to that in a second. But you're also hopefully, kind of staying sticky with the people who've rocked with you, for whether it's 1 year, 1 day, or the whole ride, right? I think as far as like how Dan and Ryan have started to evolve a little bit, or how the brand's evolved, I mean, you've seen some pretty significant milestones over the years, right? Where number 1, boom, even introducing the licensing was game changing for Ghost. I won't comment on the industry, but game changing for us, because like, look, we had to get buttoned up and submit to these processes and start to hire a team to manage it, right? We, kind of clean up the packaging by removing the characters and kind of really try to, like, I don't want to say grow up there, but kind of like, tone, I don't know, just kind of evolve what we were doing.
Sure. And
then you started to see the introduction of products like Greens and Glow, and we've been working hard to bring back a really cool, follow-up to our initial fish oil. Right, so some more holistic health products. Where look, when Ghost started, it was just pre-workout and amino. So I think, like, again, by introducing new products and different usage occasions, different age, different demographics, like the impact of energy. Go sit outside of Circle K or your Kroger or whatever, and watch Ghost cans go out in the wild. It's not just that millennial demo that everyone assumes that we're strong with. It's a lot broader and bigger than that. So again, through all of that, it's like you're starting to continue, hopefully, to excite the people who've been with you, but attract new people or add new people to the world of Ghost.
So on that note, so you're selling a ton of Ghost energy. You got all this volume over here. One like specific supplement that I always thought would fit really well with Ghost would be a glucose disposal agent type, like whatever, carb protector type of supplement. Does that even make sense anymore? Because you're doing so much over here, and you're not going to sell that many of a GDA.
We don't view stuff like that, right? Because to be honest, a lot of the in and outs, limited editions, athlete collabs. If you think about, like, we do those things pretty limited, so, and it still has all the time and work, sometimes more time and work and energy invested in that than a SKU that will have out evergreen for years. So it's never been about the ROI for us. Cool. I think, like, and I've kind of referenced it, like the example for Nike a lot in talking about this, but if you look at the top 10 sneakers, the highest grossing revenue sneakers for Nike every year, it's not the cool hype beast pairs that sold out in 5 seconds that people camped around the block for. It's like, for lack of a better term, like the dad shoes or the Foot Locker, joints, or like the Air Max 270 base color, whatever it is. And I think, like, any company, or like, well, ours especially, we've said, hey, like, we've got those the supplements that are evergreen, available all the time. They do really well for us. They're driving a lot of dollars. But then the things that you drop that are like limited edition, like the turtles or whatever, I mean, those aren't about the dollars. That's about excitement. That's about engagement. It's about fun. It's about bringing something new to our fans, bring something new to the industry, and definitely not about driving dollars, because you spend all that time for a day or two of sales.
Historically, with protein flavors, it's been the same as those shoe sales. Chocolate and vanilla are your mainstays, and you've had over your whole career a number of really fun protein flavors that probably did not stand up to the chocolate and vanilla. Is that the same here? Even with all these fun extra things, your core SKUs are really what everyone's
this
coming
is
back
for me. All of this collectively is just about strength of brand, and I think, truthfully, the story we're all telling is building a really strong brand will ultimately allow us to do any of the things that we want to do for any of the customers that we're speaking to. Obviously, Nike's got a like a core demo, right? But their dad shoes are still their top selling SKU, right? So
Those dad shoes allow them to do the
of course, right?
Yeah.
And so like I think as a brand continues to grow and age, right? Continuing to do cool shit that speaks to not necessarily gimmicks or trendy things, but really who we are and the brand that we're trying to build, what we want it to be. That customer demographic is going to continue to grow, but the people that are buying into Ghost now that are maybe aging, they're buying Ghost because of Ghost at that point, right? So it's like I buy Nikes because I like Nike. If I'm 30, 40, 50, it doesn't matter. I like Nikes, right? So while I might not be 30 anymore, you know, in 20 years, I'm still going to buy Nike sneakers because I like the brand, right? And I think if you build a great brand like that, the ability to transcend generations is much easier.
for sure.
When did you guys get so into shoes? Is this more recent thing, or are you like even in high school all about shoes?
No, yeah, I think university. Yeah, for sure. I mean, we just talked a lot, I think, over the years about Ghost and kind of the relationship with sneakers, and whether it's color palette, whether it's designs, whether it's just the collaborative mentality, the community mentality. I think a lot of that was inspired by
Drop culture too.
Yeah, sneaker culture.
Cool.
So,
All right.
yeah. And I think the other side of it too, which is not a sneaker specific comment, but on Nike, like we've always been inspired, like the vision for Ghost, right? For us, is we've said we've wanted to build like the Nike of sports nutrition or active nutrition. And what I mean by that, like Nike, I respect the hell out of them for having so many individual communities and like kind of categories, but they're all like kind of Nike, right? They're all the same common brand and promise of quality and everything that means. But you've got Nike, you know, football, basketball, running, skateboarding, training, you know, on. And I think same thing what we're trying to build here for Ghost. And it's different in sports nutrition. Sports nutrition, respectfully, you have a lot of one-hit wonders. You have a brand that has one product, that product, you know, blows it out of the water. And look, I'd say that respectfully because like in many cases that one product is bigger than our entire company. So it's not a measuring contest. But still with Ghost, our goal is different, right? We've got Ghost powders, and even within that, protein, pre-workout, you know, some, you know, Gamer now, health and wellness, right? You've got energy drinks, you've got protein drinks, you've got merch and apparel. You know, Ghost Foods is something we've been working on for a long time. And I think like if you build out all these different legs of the stool, like we really believe we can position ourselves to be one of the first to kind of cover the waterfront. That's just a different goal than what you're seeing from the industry where, you know, probably like some of the 3 or 4 biggest brands you could probably name off the top of your head. And the first ones that come to mind are like they just make pre-workout, they just make energy drinks, they just make
Their
BCAAs,
brand is their top SKU.
right? They just make you know, whey products, right? And you think of a big brand for each of those statements.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So we're just trying to do it a little different.
How do you guys manage that mentally as creative people? Even whether it's you or your team, you've got a ton of different types of products that I'm sure you have to be in a different type of mindset to talk about. If you're talking about Ghost Gaming, which I want to talk about Ghost Gaming at some point as a group, that thought process and Ghost Energy are definitely two mindsets to be in. Is your design team, do you segment your people by category? Like, because your minds are obviously very important to the ideation and the processes to set the standards, and then they have to deliver on that. How do you manage all of those different categories?
Well, we drink a lot of Ghost Energy. And
other things.
Yeah, we do a lot to keep our minds sharp, but frankly, they're mush this year with how fast everything's going. Yeah, there is a little bit difference in people sometimes that, you know, work specifically on energy or beverage, and then specifically on kind of the powders and the rest of it.
It comes with scale too.
Yeah.
As you scale those pegs to the stool, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, you build those teams out probably directly, but right now, I mean, we've got everybody pretty much touches everything.
That's
Yeah,
gonna
what
be
I was
wild.
gonna say is like, you know, it is one unifying brand.
Yeah.
So that's important. But still, like the reason that we've got like Ricky on Ghost Gamer, because he can, you know, we can have him just kind of stay super involved in, you know, in that community and what's coming out, what's new, what the trends are, what kind of content ideas. Because like, let's say the rest of the social team might not be as in the loop with that specific like community.
For sure.
So there is starting to be a little bit of that, right? And we'll probably continue to build out our gaming specific team.
Can we dive into that?
Definitely energy and so on.
Ben's the gamer of us two. From my perspective, it's obvious that this thing is huge, and it's been huge for a long time. And from my outside perspective, and knowing you guys a little bit, it seems like you're making a big play in here. This is not. We've seen brands from a long time ago. Any sports nutrition brand just see that there's money in them hills and make a gaming supplement. It's a decent nootropic, and they're not really in their community.
Yeah.
You are, from my perspective, it looks like you're jumping in head first.
We've been known to dabble.
Yeah. So can we talk about the next few years of Ghost Gaming or?
Yeah, absolutely. I think.
Well, number one, we only do things authentically.
Yeah.
So
a wise man once said, "Authenticity is undefeated."
The one thing I have to say is because over the last couple of months, Josh Shaw's been mentioning gaming and authenticity a lot, and a lot of people like jump into it and they're like, they talk about the competitive nature, the competitive side of esports. I'm a huge gamer. I've been playing video games. I wasted my high school days on World of Warcraft. I was never a competitive player, so I don't relate to that side at all. The thing that I love with you guys is watching you guys play FIFA with your friends and shit talking each other, because that's what's relevant to me. That's what I understand. I don't understand LAN parties and Call of Duty tournaments. I literally know nothing about that.
So here's what I'll say, and it's a very new industry.
Yeah.
And it's an emerging kind of category, not just in the world of like sports nutrition or active nutrition, but just in the world in general, right? It's an emerging category. And I think that because it's so new, so many people are mistakenly just painting gamers with a broad brush, right? Imagine saying people who lift take pre-workout with a broad brush. And no, well, hold on, right? We have a lot of questions we got to ask to get to the right product here. I think that's what's going on with gaming right now.
Yeah.
If you're a brand trying to enter the space, do you want to go work with a competitive gaming team? How important is that to you? Are they the best representatives? How does your product integrate with those competitive people who are so particular that they're bringing rulers and stuff to get set up for a tournament so the peripherals are exactly the space the way they are at home? I mean, it's insane, right? The level of detail that goes into that. Or if you're talking about trying to reach the every man's gamer, right? Probably what I'd consider all three of us, where it's like, we, a little bit extra time in the weekend or whatever, or definitely, during lockdown, we're spending hours every night, that type of gamer. Who are you trying to reach, right? And I think that, whether it's style of gameplay, whether it's, level of gameplay, whether it's even just within the different titles or types of gaming, there's a lot of kind of worlds that you can go into there that I think any brand in CPG needs to think about to do this authentically. But you're right, most CPG brands, especially in our industry, don't. Because there's a long history of brands taking a pre-workout, slapping the name Neuro on it, and then telling gamers it's for them when they're still beta-alling it.
For ego,
I'm not even a gamer, and I felt insulted seeing some of these. Like, I get upset when the sports nutrition industry does stupid stuff that makes us look bad, whether it's not compliant ingredients or just trying to make money off of people that may not know any better. If it's gamers aren't dumb. Obviously, they're cerebral folk. So, a couple specific questions. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. First off, is this going to be kind of like a quasi permanent-ish thing, or is this limited? Maybe should know this.
Limited.
Okay, it's limited, and you put out Ghost Gamer Non-Stim with this, so we're gonna have to cover that a little bit more detail. This is basically you just remove the caffeine from.
Yep, caffeine and theobromine.
Okay, and the theobromine. Okay, cool. And so,
will we see non-stim as another iteration?
TBD.
Yeah, who knows?
I think this is a great test.
Ryan's nodding. You're giving me the tease back.
We don't look. I think we're gonna see how it plays. We've been asked.
We don't have another. Yeah, we don't have anything planned with it right now. I think that we're excited to get Donatello out there. That's actually been the one I've been reaching for the most because again, it's non-stim. You can just pop it in at any time.
Yeah.
right.
Well, like you said on the tour before, when we were doing this, it was 10 to 1 in the morning, and there were a few times where we were jokingly, but not really, doming 2 scoops at midnight.
Yeah.
And we might have stopped playing at 1, and I don't know about you guys, I was still up another 3 hours. It just so having a non-stim is important, but I don't know if people will purchase that.
It's also super stackable.
Yes.
You could even. I like the nootropics and stuff for during workouts and stuff. I mean, you could even level up your pre with it.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, after all, new level is essentially nitrogen, so you're going to get some inherent pump there too.
Yeah, there's a lot to be said there. And I think people who have tried a pre-workout that actually engage them nootropic wise, I think it's a game changer.
Yeah.
You know, if
Yeah.
actually having focus during
I
workout.
love the new level, just the sample packets. Like, the studies say perceived energy increases. I don't want to hit placebo effect, but I feel that a little bit when I take it, and so I'm excited about Gamer Non-Stim because at night I'm still working sometimes to get the kid down and everything. I want a little
focus.
something, but I can't be up all night, otherwise my whole day. So I'm excited you have that. I wouldn't mind that one being a little bit more permanent, just my personal opinion.
When we talk about collabs, you guys have come from just straight flavor collabs to now we're talking about things that I don't know if you want to talk about the flavor of ooze, but technically like really isn't something that people should know. Is that the evolution for Ghost? Are you still extending the flavor collabs? Are there going to be new flavor collabs, or like? Because you and I have talked about this privately, and I don't know how much you want to talk about it.
I mean, look, here's what I'll say.
I'm curious.
Number one of my favorite details about this release is that it's going international from day one. I feel like terrible every time we announce a really cool innovation or a cool limited edition, and it's just for everyone here in North America. I feel bad. This is a global world we're living in. Ghost is global. We're in 55 plus countries around the world and growing. Yeah, I'd rather, and look, I'm first generation Portuguese, so maybe I view things differently too, just as my family's all over the world, so it's a global mindset. So it stinks at what I would say are probably some of our most exciting or anticipated releases. We haven't been able to get everywhere, and we're working on that. So number one, I love that about this partnership. As far as like where we want to take collabs in the future, like we're definitely going to keep doing them, right? We're the very first to do it, and we're definitely going to keep doing it, and we're going to keep doing it we're going to keep trying to raise the bar, I think. But like, look, all collabs, all licenses are not created equal, and
we also don't collab to collab.
Yeah,
right.
We say no to a lot, right? We say no to a lot.
You're getting approached a lot.
We're getting approached, and we're saying no, and we're saying no, and then we're seeing other brands do it. But and like 5 or 6 times recently.
You made a really good point.
I think like, look, how many is too many at a macro level for the industry, right? And who's the appropriate watchdog or guardian, for that? I would say, look, I'd caution the retail buyers out there. When a brand approaches you, hey, I got this collab, we're so pumped, it's gonna change the world. Like, make sure that's a brand that's a fit for your customer, a fit for your store, that frankly deserves to sit on a shelf with some of the major brands that's out there. GNC collabing with Girl Scout cookies is not a little thing. That's awesome, right? I mean, the post-Amatize collaboration, that's awesome. That makes a lot of sense. But I just would you look around and you're seeing like Dip and Die, like whatever the stuff is, Hostess, I think that one died, right? The Bodybuilding.com collab with Hostess, right? You're just seeing the stuff, you're like, why? And collab for the sake of collabing, if anything, it poses a little bit of a risk, right? That the whole concept starts to kind of maybe be viewed a little differently. But what I'll say, and the two of us have talked about this a ton, yes, there's still some collabs we want to keep doing, whether they're global, whether they're cool things we haven't touched yet. Like we're still brainstorming some really interesting ideas yet. We've got more coming this year. We're going to execute them in a special Ghost way. There's a real why behind them. But I think outside of that, like we're trying to think, okay, like, the collab idea, and I know people throw this term around a lot, right? You guys hear this probably every day, but I think we deserve it with this one. The collab idea did actually change the game. It did actually change the industry. Look around.
Sure.
It's one of the only game changers I think you can point out of the past decade, I would say, from like a brand side innovation. And again, we say that humbly, but I think it's true.
No,
I think now we're trying to think what's next, right?
What is next?
Like what is next? And we're working on some of those ideas now because, look, you guys, especially being kind of the industry media, if I may, you're going to be covering a lot of collabs this year, and a lot of people pat themselves on the back for executing these collabs. When really it's just like, hey guys, cool, congratulations on thinking the way Ghost was thinking 6 years ago. So, and look, we're challenging ourselves in that to say, hey, like, the pressure is on us to innovate, like what the next thing is going to be, right?
Remain the leaders.
Yeah, because looking out like into 2025, 2026, there's got to be something more, I would think. And I mean, having talked to Wilkie, I already see some stuff coming here and there, but I'm not asking to release anything, but like how far out do you look? Like, are you thinking 2030 or anything crazy like that? Or
I think that the best answer to this is something that a new friend of ours, LT, said. It's actually a really good line. Which I want to take credit for it, but I won't. But he basically said that, like, look, the pressure is on us, to look around the corner, right, of what's coming next and build that future while attacking exactly what consumers need today and expect of us today. You got to do both, right, long and short. And so that's definitely, like, there's some things on the calendar now for next year already, like next summer, more than a year out. There's some things maybe even beyond that. But there's also this element of Dan Ryan trying to figure out what the fuck we're doing next month.
right.
Or actually tomorrow. So so it's a little bit of both.
That's what makes Ghost though. Like it's the culture in here. It's all of it. Like with scale, you would assume. And one of the things that when we first started Ghost, one of the things we said that was most important to us is really not about how big we want to make Ghost and the brands that we want to sit next side to or any of those things. It was how big can we make it while still staying true to everything that we put behind the original concept,
which
inclusive
is like,
of the culture and all of that.
It's been, I don't want to say it's been challenged, but there has been points where it was definitely an easy spot where you guys could have sold out or gone the other direction. You did your V2s, right? And that's a big spot where you guys could have cut a lot of margin. Going into energy, you didn't have to make an expensive energy can. Right? You'd have to do that stuff. And now that you guys have been seen as the leaders of collabs, and by the way, anyone who says that you guys aren't the leaders of it or change the game with it, like, I don't know. But I don't really have a good feedback for it.
It was a game-changing concept that to this day I will never understand how we were the first, but we fucking were. I don't know how we were the first. It was obvious. It's not that smart.
You manifested.
I'm telling you, it's not that smart. It's not genius. It was obvious. So look, it's one of those things. Like we say this all the time. Like, I'm surprised we were the first. How did no one else do this? But hey, we were the first, so we're gonna wear it proudly.
It's funny because when people talk about it, and a lot of people are gonna think I'm talking about them. It's fine. When people talk about it, they talk about it so matter of factly in the same way, saying it's obvious. And like, because I've had people say to me, collabs aren't authentic. Like when Oreo does a sneaker or whatever Oreo does, do you think there's any connection there? Like they talk about it so matter of factly that if it is so obvious, then why did Ghost do it first before anyone else did?
We got to rewind back to 2016 when we were just starting to have fully disclosed formulas, and there was still a lot of prop blended garbage there. Even though like maybe 2010 through 2012 things really improved on that front. But there was still a lot of junk out there. There was the DMHA floating around. There was a lot of stuff. The industry did not look good. And so that to me is the most important thing about the collaborations is that you leveled up the industry single-handedly. Like you just took this big bar and you rose it and you carried everyone up with it. And for that, I think everyone owes you the biggest thank you. So I'm like having trouble putting into words how huge I think it was that someone had to do it, and you had to level everyone up with you. And at the same time, it brought legitimacy because now you have these huge companies that are probably looking into whatever, your books, your lab tests, or this, your that. And now we know at least, like, I know that if a major food corporation is working with this company, there's a very 99.999% chance that they dug into you pretty hard, and that's huge. And at least like now consumers know that there's at least one company out there, and that means there's probably more, but there's at least one company out there who's legit. And in 2016, it was tough to say how many companies were truly legit.
Can I ask, we talked a lot about legitimizing the industry or leveling up the industry and all these things. From 6 years ago to now, what has been the change that has brought? Like what is different because of that?
In sports nutrition?
Yeah.
I mean, the obvious one is there's a lot of collabs out there, right?
But does that bring funding to us? Does that bring new people, new eyeballs?
I think the category is growing. I think sports nutrition is growing. So I think that making it more approachable, even just via flavor, right, is definitely one way to help that growth. It's definitely brought eyeballs in, just awareness of the category, let's say in the more mainstream CPG world.
We're proof of that.
Right? Like some of these brands, they weren't ever considering this category for licensing before. The agents weren't, the brands weren't.
Yeah.
Right? We went out there, we showed them, hey, like this is real, this is working.
This is a hard
and now
question.
They're jumping on.
I want you to answer this objectively, but without the flavor collabs, would ABEV have looked at Ghost as seriously? Because I see those flavor collabs in those cans as huge bargaining factors for what Ghost Energy is. If you guys are saying you're proof of that legitimacy helping, do you think that those collabs helped out
I
significantly?
think the story's proof of that too.
Yeah.
Like Brendan, the now CEO of North America, sent us a cold email.
Right.
He guessed our emails off the back of one of our canisters from GNC.
Cool.
But the fact of the matter is, he was walking the store at GNC and pulled Ghost off the shelf.
Cool.
Are the flavor collabs part of that? Of course.
100%.
But so is the formula, so is the labels, so is the brand, so is the colors and the containers and all the custom elements that we do. It's all part of it.
Right.
And I think he identified, okay, this brand gets it. We want to help them. And we were already working on the ready to drink at the time.
Cool.
Got the email.
Yeah, when he emailed us, he didn't know that we were working on a ready to drink, and he didn't know if the licenses would even be in for that, right? But no, I think what Ryan said is completely right. I think that, we work really hard to dial in a lot of different details, and I'm not sitting here, I'm not smart enough to know which singular detail was the thing that put someone over the edge to actually go and purchase or follow or whatever, right? But we work really hard to present a great package and the total story. But I'll say this, look, we're a product of our environments, and it's one of those things, it definitely changed, like I said, changed the company, and it changed the industry, I think, around us. Without the flavor collabs, which has been a big differentiator, then I'm sure we would have had to find some other ways to kind of do some things a little bit different. Yeah. And really, really stand out. It's competitive,
Cool. So
I think the other positive change though from all this in the industry, and I will say this, 6 years ago versus now, you have brands now prioritizing graphic design, web layouts. I think the industry looks a little bit better too. Outside of collabs, just in general, I think it's a little bit more, design forward now. It's not it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
And there's still some bad examples.
We have some pretty
I was going to say,
cool
I'd like to say that, the sloppy labels have stopped, but we still catch errors out there. So
Not even errors. I mean,
I
just
know.
mean looking like it was on a Microsoft Paint.
Yeah.
I mean, there's I think overall there's been a big upgrade.
I feel like sports, you guys brought up LT before, just in terms of sports nutrition as a whole, there's a lot of creators, there's a lot of really quality stuff happening. There's just clean design and people that take pride in their work now, whereas it used to be, I can't name any labels because I'll piss someone off, but the status quo was just boring. It was just,
I mean, we also showed people us. We showed people the behind the scenes. We showed people the manufacture, right? And yeah, I'm sure there had been videos out there before of someone touring a manufacturing facility, but it was probably super edited and more kind of commercially rather than just, hey, one of our guys is following us around with the camera, we're gonna share part of our visit. So we definitely tried to. I think, and we talked about the origin story of Ghost, a lot now, but I think, the one thing that we had complimented a lot for our marketing, but when we started this thing, our goal was that there is no marketing. We're just going to show people under the hood. Right. The fact that is viewed as marketing to some people, great. Right. Cool. But, this is, like we said several times today, it's been a personal statement. We just tried to show people, and that was a big shift from the industry before Ghost. The industry before Ghost was fake perfect, right? Eat this way, sleep this way, train this way. It was this very curated shreds-like image, right? But when we just said, hey, we're going to try to tell like it is.
It's funny because when you say marketing, I think claims. You have no claims on your bottles, right? It is very clean. It is honestly very minimalist in a lot of ways. So you say Ghost is a marketing machine, but
to be honest, the licensing that's an above the line cost, not even marketing. It doesn't even hit his budget.
One thing I was thinking about, if I were to start a new business selling consumer product goods, and nearly any industry, I would want to model the behind the scenes type of thing. Get in the office, have some fun, show people want to see where is my money going to support. If you guys are jerks, I don't want to buy your product no matter how good it is. That's a fact, and you guys are cool, so it helps to make the sale. Have you seen any brands in other industries kind of do this? Because I actually haven't, and I'm surprised that no one's really stealing the Ghost story.
About that though, the funny thing about that is, take us out of the picture. It has nothing to do with us, right? But I think a lot of brands, and we have seen it. I think a lot of brands will take the production angle of it, trying to produce a show or trying to produce the day-to-day that goes on versus just capturing and sharing
Yes.
it. And the problem with that is it's entirely authentic and organic. And so many people attack content. Like, okay, well, what's the plan? What are we saying here? What are we doing here? And you're like, you've literally just killed a piece of content.
Yeah.
Like, and so many people have come to Ghosts at in the headquarters and done a lap, and they're like, wow, this is exactly like the YouTube channel. No shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know.
These are all paid actors, actually. No, I mean, but like the years preceding you guys, I mean, in the YouTube creator community, like Casey Neistat, like a lot of big guys were just saying, or Gary Vee says it all the time, like document, don't like curate, just document. No one really seems to get that in our industry.
Well,
I think that they didn't want it documented.
To be real, I think, people, they either make every excuse as to why there's not enough time, and look, Holden he's testament to how much time goes into this, because it is a lot of time still.
Yeah.
Especially as the brand has grown, like, having a camera rolling at all times, a lot of stuff that, especially like Dan will jump in meetings and stuff. Not all of that's shareable, but we share as much as we can. And
Do you guys have like I saw you go to like the camera before, like you have a sign to don't record.
I mean,
this.
it's not live, right? So
Okay.
it's not that big of a deal if you capture
But you're
something.
no longer watching every video before it goes to YouTube, are you?
We still watch it.
Oh, you do? Okay, cool. Nice.
You'd be surprised. The some of the cool stuff that we're doing, but also some of the stuff that we've still are a
Very
part
much
of
still in
day
the
one.
trenches.
Yeah.
What
I don't think we
what
want it
I-
to change,
What I posted
though.
like the other day, very true, right? I think our mentality here is that there's no job like too big or too small here for any of us. So we're still doing some of that stuff. Where you'd probably be like, don't you have a team doing that? No, we're still we love it,
But you love your own products.
Yeah, of course.
Like
We want to be involved.
I know a lot of owners that like don't know what's in their own products.
It just doesn't make any sense though, at all.
Like the way we're drinking energy drinks right now, like we've been at brands where they're just drinking coffee and stuff. And I'm like, I love coffee, don't get me wrong, but don't you sell caffeine products? Like, why aren't you drinking your own stuff?
Look, we also take a bunch of other brands, right? So I think we love the category. We love the industry, right? And we actively consume these products from our brand and many other brands.
Yeah.
So we built it because we love it though. And that's what confuses me when so many brand owners are like, here, we're doing this to this exit. We didn't have a single conversation about dollars until we were forced to because of some of the bigger partnerships and stuff that we're talking about, right? But we didn't start this for cash. As you're right, if we did, we probably wouldn't be sitting here right now.
I was just gonna say you're just excited about what you do.
Yeah.
I want to sit down and drink Ghost Energy because it is fun.
Yeah.
It's like I wouldn't drink this if it wasn't good.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of
we
bad out
love
there.
the category.
Yeah.
Right. So that's where it all comes from. It's
Yeah.
like a consumer view of the industry versus like a serial investor in the industry or serial entrepreneur in the industry. It's like, no, this is actually coming from the fan side in some respects, right? We're just well-educated fans. So, yeah.
I love that.
Didn't we have some Q&A questions or anything, or is that for a different?
I didn't. I do have Q&A questions. I didn't. We could.
I wasn't sure if it was
we
for
could
the
pop it
podcast
in
or
here.
for like separate videos.
We could
or
absolutely
what our-
pop it
what
in
our
here. It
plan
doesn't
was.
bother me at all.
This has been a good conversation. I don't have anything else. I mean, what's funny is we always start kind of like in a fun and jovial mood, but like it gets a little serious, and I don't mean for it to get serious. These have a lot of cool questions because, I don't know. In my opinion, we're sitting in front of greatness. Like, I just think that you guys have really done a lot of stuff that has shaken things up, shaken people up, and there's gonna be hate, but at the end of the day, it's authentic and you leveled us up. So for that, like, thank you. You've made our lives easier doing what we do actually, because everyone, we're getting a lot less garbage approaching our way, even though we will get some some emails that are.
Well, I think maybe let's wrap this podcast. I'm sure you probably have enough footage to wrap this, and then we'll do the long Q&A, and then we can bring Wilkie in and taste some stuff too.
Boom.
Have some fun.
All right, subscribe to the Priceplow YouTube channel and everything, and
Podcast.
some of the audio feeds and everything, and then we'll post that in the Q&As on another.
Yes, sir.
All right, well, gentlemen, thanks for having us
guys.
here. By the way,
Appreciate it, guys.
Heck yeah.
Thanks for coming to check out HQ.